This is UMass Hockey.
And O'Hara does something marvelous yet again!
Home to future NHL stars. 5 NCAA tournaments in the last 6 seasons. 2 Frozen Fours. And a national title.
Another shot, they score!
It's NewMass at a whole new level. Now to get you pumped for all the Minutemen action on the ice, along with Nathan Strauss, here's the voice of the Minuteman, Jay Burnham.
And welcome back to the NewMass Minute. We are talking UMass hockey because the season is here. And we're inside the podcast emporium. I'm Jay Burnham, voice of the Minutemen, alongside my cohort Nathan Strauss and UMass defenseman Owen Murray stepping into the studio. How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Awesome. Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate you. I've already been promised before we even get through this recording, I get to put an Owen Murray stick somewhere in this room.
Yeah, we'll find some room for it, absolutely.
All right. Something that's not too busted, okay?
Yeah.
I got some broken twigs.
Yeah. I'll keep it in one piece.
What have you been up to?
Not a whole lot. Just practicing, grinding it out.
How about summer? Take us back before that.
Summer was busy. I was here for most of June, all of July and August with the guys as well. So spent a lot of time out here. I said on High Character, shout to them as well, but I was kind of Mr. Worldwide this summer. Jersey Shore with the guys, Florida, here, there, you name it, Wisconsin. So a little bit of everywhere, but I like being
all the important parts of the globe.
Yeah, exactly. But I like being on the go, so that was the fun part about it. I haven't got to travel probably that much in one summer ever, so it was good.
When I asked you this last year, you'd been at home in Decker, working on the farm. Mm-hmm. Now, I made a comment last year on a broadcast about the family farm, and I got the type of farm wrong. And then I got 10 texts from your brothers, your mom. What is the Owen Murray? What is the Murray family farm situation like? And what was it like growing up, working it?
Yeah. All right. So it's a mix. It's mostly a pedigreed seed business, which is over about 5,500 acres now. And the side hustle is my dad is always had his own cattle business as well. So we're actually mainly a seed business with mostly canola, wheat, barley, oats, soybeans, peas, all of that mixture. And then my dad's raised his Black Angus cattle for, I don't know, as long as almost a young kid himself. So we've kind of just helped along in both sides of that as long as I've been alive. But we used to have over 800 head of cattle, and then we sold off when I was about 5 years old. Well,
my dad made me bale hay when I was a kid. That was an absolute chore. What is the worst chore to have to do?
The cattle side isn't too bad, honestly. Okay. It used to be pretty bad, but I was too young to be invested in that side. But honestly, the worst chores would probably be either picking rocks after seeding, which is just a side-by-side, and you go up and down every acre of as many fields as you can before the crops start coming through, and just picking out the big stones that might ruin the harvesters. So any combine, they don't like that. Or it'd probably be cleaning the grain bins out after we empty them in the springtime going into the next harvest.
Do you think Nathan Strauss ever had to do any of those things?
I worked out at sea, man. I was
that's right. Yeah, I know how to tie every knot. You know how to tie every knot possible, right?
Yeah, not the land side, but by sea is the same sort of stuff. I mean, it's like you know how hard it is to keep a boat dry? Yeah. Like the worst task is like washing it's like an old wooden boat from 1920, and you have to, like 115 feet long, you scrub
get
the
the
boat
barnacles
down.
off.
Brutal. Get the barnacles off.
You have to dive and put like the caulk in, like. You have to put the sealant in.
Not easy.
Not easy.
Seasickness too. I've experienced being out in the ocean once, and it wasn't fun.
Manitoba, famously very landlocked.
Yeah.
So,
well, you said you were in Florida. You were hanging out with the Musa family.
Yeah, we went down. Actually, Cole Hara came down as well, and we stayed a week with the Musa family. So got to see all of them, skated and worked out with them a bit, and then just kind of enjoyed the weather. So it was a lot of fun seeing those guys.
Is the rink in Florida different than a rink in the Northeast?
It was a little rundown. It was in the Fort Myers area downtown, not the prettiest area, but the ice worked. We were able to get the most out of it, and obviously that family's pretty talented. So we were just kind of looking to see what the recipe was that they had going down there.
Yeah. What are they putting in the water, man?
I don't know. I mean, those kids are rink rats. So like for Florida kids, you wouldn't think that. Like you can't keep Jack Musa off the ice, and like Jason's kind of the same way as you guys will see here, and obviously Joey can't help himself. He's in France playing hockey this year, so. I think it's just the amount of time that they spend out there, and they have their own personal skills coach that actually lives in their house. So with the family, so it's pretty convenient and accessible for them. So we were just like, screw it, let's come down and try it out. It was a lot of fun.
Well, I think it starts with Joe, right? It starts with the father who grew up in this area and was a rink rat himself in his playing days. So it starts at the top.
Yeah.
But tell me, small senior class, right? Like you've been here. This is now year 4 for you. But you're having all these great like bonding opportunities in the summer. What's it been like for you, kind of growing this team in your time here?
It's interesting as time goes on. Like you think it's going to be so easy to see everybody all the time, and that definitely is not the case. Like there's guys that I wish I could still see every day that I play with my freshman year, but you just kind of carry those relationships along the way and make sure you run into each other. Like who would have thought I'd spend 3 years with guys like Cole O'Hara and Kenny Connors, and like that, you don't see them. Yeah. So just making sure to see those guys, and everybody's trying to do the same. And that's the same thing I would recommend all the guys I'm here with now is like I want them to be as comfortable as possible and build the connections this year, so then we could carry it along the way once I'm gone next year, and same thing along the line. Like, I mean, the national championship group having a reunion this year, like, that's really cool. Those are things that like I would cherish a lot too, and like it's the best part about playing here for sure.
Yeah, kind of gives you a real like lineage to the program and to the university. We were talking with Lucas Ulverstad about the size of this team that you guys have, and you being on the defensive line, maybe a little smaller than some of the other guys, but you're so fast.
You calling him small, Jay?
Under 6 foot.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Short kings, let's go. No.
Yeah.
What is your superpower? Like, what makes you so good? Because maybe you don't have that 6'3" defensive body that some other guys have.
I mean, I just like to make things happen quick. I think that's the biggest thing. I try to use my feet to my advantage, whether that's on the offensive side or the defensive side. One of the big things that I think I've gotten really good at under Carve is we focus so hard on like gapping up as a defenseman, playing tight to your check. And as you get more comfortable with that, if like I think it plays into my hand well that I can stay with a guy step for step. And I think that's the beauty of some of the defensemen we bring here as well. Even if they're bigger, everybody can skate. So I think that's probably the main thing for me is just always putting myself in a position where I can take a guy step by step or gain a step on somebody anywhere on the ice.
Your offensive game is so good. Was there a time in your career where you were maybe more forward-minded as a young kid, or you've always been on the defensive line?
I started off as a forward until my first full year of defense was when I was 14, turning 15, so kind of the U16 age. So I've always been hungry to be on the offensive side, and I would definitely say I used to be better at it, a little cleaner at it when I was at a younger age, but I still have all those inklings along the way. Like when I see the game, it's like I want to go, go, go. But the best thing I think I've learned here is how to balance that and kind of finding the perfect medium of how to keep the game in front of me, but then also attack when I can, because we are a pretty fast north, high-paced team. So, I would just say it's. I definitely like to be hungry offensively, but I've been pretty proud of myself, at least over 3 years going into my fourth now, how my defensive game has developed in the mind for it.
Well, speaking of superpowers and balance, obviously gotten to talk to you for 3 years now, and I know that like you are a talker. That's one of the skills that I think you possess. But we just talked to Lucas as well, and we were talking about the balance that the two of you bring as a captain group. Mm-hmm. How do you view your strength as a captain, and what was it like when you heard that you're going to wear a C this year for UMass?
It was obviously really special. It's something that my first year on campus, especially the first half, like I definitely felt like I've always had those traits, but I was just like, I don't know if that day will ever come. You don't know who stays, who else is going to step up and lead in those times. But as it's gotten closer, and especially last year, I was like, this is something that I think I would do really good at. and I want to do. I've kind of consistently said that to people who have asked me. It's a job you want to do, and I take a lot of pride in. And in going that, I think my strengths definitely are is being approachable. Like, I love to have a conversation with just about anybody that I pass by. So I think that's the biggest thing with the young guys is I want them to feel the same thing from me. Like, if they need anything or have any questions, I want me and Lucas to be the first guys that right away they think, oh, I should probably ask them that. So I think that's kind of where my leadership quality has always been strong, is kind of always being open. And I think it works perfectly with kind of Olvi's side as well. I think he's a little bit more, I don't know how to describe it, but like doesn't have to say a lot of words to get his points across, and you know it really means something when you hear it. So I think it's the perfect medium between the both of us. So
how do you guys, if I remember the start of last year, there was a couple of games in there where I think you probably felt like you should have won that you ultimately didn't get to, and then you started to pick up as the season went along. At this point in the year where we haven't started yet, but you've been through practice, we're about to drop the puck, can you tell, like, hey, I think we're a little bit further along, or maybe we're at the same place as where we were a year ago?
I think
can you tell where you are at this point?
I think I can to an extent. I still think there's a lot of unknowns until we play on Saturday and playing a true opponent, but I think there's a lot we learned from last year, and like we could see the talent from day one last year where we're like, holy, we could really do this thing. But you kind of get almost a little complacent in like, oh, the game's going to come easy. And we kind of had to learn the hard way that even though we are as good as we are, like it takes a lot more than what you think. I think that's the biggest thing. We've talked a lot, and Carva's talked a lot about the mindset going into this year is just preparing yourself for those tougher battles right away, the sacrifice, all that comes along with it. Like it's not going to be pretty probably right away, and that's for every team in college hockey because nobody really gets a preseason game or a little bit of time to figure it out. I think you just have to be structured with your systems and trust that like defense is probably going to win you some games early on. I think that's what we missed earlier in the year last year that we definitely are trying to take advantage of this year.
You get to play in front of Michael Hrabal for a third year now, and obviously he wanted to stay. He turned down the NHL contract, staying at UMass. What have you seen from him like year over year, and also just what does he bring to the group as the character that he is? Because he's a funny guy. Like he's got some humor too.
Yeah, I think it goes a little under the table, like the personality that he has, because you don't always hear him talk a ton. But he is a pretty high character. Like he's got a lot of personality to him. But when he puts the mask on, that kid competes like nobody else. And I think when he struggled maybe at the start of last year, he was kind of like looking for answers, or whatever. But I think all along we knew how good and how talented of a goalie we had, and we knew once he clicked it on and once we clicked it on, like we were gonna really get driving quick. And I think the biggest part so far is I think his mindset to start this year is really sharp. Like he's not letting in many goals, and his compete level is taking even another jump. And like you said, like he didn't have to come back. So that's why I really respect about him is he really wanted this chance to kind of take on Hockey East, take on college hockey, and kind of prove himself as one of the best in the country. And that obviously gives us a ton of confidence going into the year as well, as knowing what we have in him on the back end too.
What was your, I guess, approach when last year you're down a couple of defensemen? We were talking with Lucas. I didn't even realize he was out a couple of games with a thumb injury. When it is so sparse and you don't have any help behind you, what take us through that kind of time frame and what that meant or what that did to you and how you were able to, I guess, rise to the occasion.
Yeah. It was tiring. It was tiring. Don't get me wrong.
Better or worse than picking stones?
Yeah, exactly. Well, seriously, like if you really think about it, like once we got down so many guys, I just remember like, holy, this is so much. But like literally, what else would you rather do? Like it was just kind of like you get in the mode of just go. Like there's no other option. Like you're the last guys out there. Like you just got to put your best foot forward. And I think we really cherish that challenge, and once you get into the game, like you just start feeling numb to it. Like you just got to keep pushing forward. Like you see the light at the end of the tunnel. But the only time I would say, like, we got to that Minnesota game and you're down 3-1, and I remember after they scored their third goal in the second period, I was like, really? Like, this is the way we're going to go out? And I was like, I got to the locker room and had the chance to kind of, like, rekindle myself after I was completely, like, I thought I was out of gas. And then it's just you keep finding in the back of your head that next, like a little bit, like, you have more. You always seem to have more. And I think that was the mindset for kind of all the guys that were playing on the back end at the end of last year is, like, we're always going to find a way even when it gets really tough.
I think didn't you draw a penalty in that game late off a face-off?
I'm trying to remember now. I'm going blank. I'll
have to go back and check.
I can't remember.
Interfered with.
It was at the start of the game.
Yeah.
It was right at the start of the game. Yeah, we
Right.
were going on to the kill, and I jumped the face off, and somebody took me down. Yeah. Okay, I remember that.
Yeah, I think it was a penalty. It was like a 50-50 toss-up penalty. Definitely not one of the more controversial ones to come out of that game.
Moving on.
Yeah.
But I got to ask. So I have basically all these interviews on my phone from, like, media from the last 3-4 years, and it's rare to get a chance to talk to someone 3 years later. I have an interview that I did with you in October of 2012, of your freshman year.
I remember this now. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I asked you who you modeled your game off of growing up. Do you remember who you said?
Oh, who would I have said? I'm trying to think. I know my answers now. I think it would be pretty similar, but I mean, the guy I've really loved is Neil Pionk on the Jets, and Jared Spurgeon's always the other one. So I was going to say I've been pretty consistent with my answer, haven't I?
Well, I was just going to say, when guys grow up, I feel like a lot of people think, oh, I want to be McDavid, I want to be Draisaitl or McAvoy or Makar or Hughes. Not many guys are like, oh, I want to be like a really reliable two-way defenseman like Neil Pionk or Jared Spurgeon. So how did that come about for you?
Honestly, I think when I was kind of in that 15, 16 age, and that's kind of when Kale was kind of sprouting off. I think it was his freshman, sophomore year here at UMass. And I've always said this, don't get me wrong, like, I definitely look up to, like, what he did, and a lot of that was why I wanted to be a defenseman. I think that's kind of why I changed full-time. But as you kind of come along, like, you look at your strengths and, like, where my size is at and everything, like, it's, like you said, I don't think it's fair to compare yourself to a guy like that. Like, those are unicorns. Those are one in a million. And I kind of heard it along my recruiting process from a couple of coaches, maybe not even here. They're kind of like, oh, yeah, like a little bit of Jared Spurgeon. And the more I got to watch it, I was like, you know what, these guys might be right. And then I just start paying attention to it more. And I started to realize I really, really do like those guys' style of defenseman. I think it suits me. So I think it's just trying to consistently find what I do that could play like a guy like that, because obviously they're talented defensemen
put that
too.
in your head and you say, oh, look, okay, let me watch and see exactly what this guy's doing, and then you're like, oh yeah, I can emulate that, because we all want to be Vince Scully as broadcasters.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But, like, you ain't gonna be Vince Scully, man.
There's already been a Vince Scully.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you gotta set your expectations to
play to your strengths.
To what your
find your own
skill level
strengths,
is.
literally.
Yeah.
Last one for me. We asked Lucas the same question. We asked him about who has the best cellies on the team. He mentioned Cam O'Neill, but then he also mentioned, I mentioned your slide across half of the Mullen Center against Michigan 2 years ago. What have you seen from this group as far as cellies go?
Oh, I feel like we definitely have some guys that are going to score more goals that I don't think have had the chance to prove themselves on the celly side. Like, I think you're going to see when Nick Van Tassel breaks out this year, and I hope this could be clipped when he does. But
Wait, say it right into the camera, right?
When he breaks out this year, he's going to score a lot of goals. I've seen his game before, playing with him in Green Bay. He's got some really good ones. I would say Nealer is definitely one of those guys up there. But for the young guys, a lot of unknowns. I'm going to give myself credit. I've always been pretty good, but over time, other than that one in Michigan, I've tried to hone it a bit this year or recently. But we'll see. I might break a good one out.
Let's let it fly, man. Because you mentioned the celly, and Lucas wasn't even here, but he had seen the
Lucas said, "Oh yeah, his goal against Michigan." And I was like, he was starting his sophomore year in Denver.
Right.
In the season, like.
Okay, can we get you back during the season?
Easily.
Talk some talk what's going on. And
I'll come every week.
I love it, man. All right. Thanks so much,
Yeah.
man. Good luck.
Yep,
We
thank
wish you
you.
guys
Appreciate
the
it.
best and excited for this weekend, man.
Yeah, excited as
All
well.
right. Nate, as always, a pleasure. He is Owen Murray. He's Nathan Strauss. My name's Jay Burnham. This has been the UMass Minute. We'll see you at the Mullins Center.